And by the way, we're knocking the hell out of ISIS. We'll be coming out of Syria like very soon. Let the other people take care of it now. Very soon. Very soon we're coming out. We're going to have 100% of the caliphate, as they call it, sometimes referred to as land. We're taking it all back quickly, quickly.
It's also what happens when you listen to the radio host, Alex Jones, who claims that 9/11 and the Oklahoma City bombings were inside jobs. I don't know what happens in somebody's mind or how dark their heart must be to say things like that.
The Russians ran an extensive information war campaign against my campaign to influence voters in the election. And then they began to weaponize them. And they began to have some of their allies within the internet world, like InfoWars, take out pieces and began to say the most outrageous, outlandish, absurd lies you can imagine.
But Trump doesn't challenge these lies. He actually went on Jones's show and said, "Your reputation is amazing. I will not let you down."
Waging war on corruption. It's Alex Jones coming to you live from the front lines of the InfoWar.
Hillary Clinton has no instincts. Zero. She thought that the media should attack Trump to make him the dominant candidate. This is in the emails, the WikiLeaks, so that he'd be easier for her to beat. But of course, instinct-wise, we knew he was the only one that could beat her. She's so stuffed suit, so establishment, so OCD. And then they thought, let's use Alex Jones against Trump in the campaign. And all the numbers showed it only made Trump more popular and only made us more popular. And still, it's the John Podesta playbook that was admittedly written for Hillary, the Dark Heart speech, when she announced the alt-right and said, I'm the biggest enemy and I've got to be taken down and we're all Nazis. And the same blueprint a year and a half later, 2 years later, we're still under. And they just don't stop. And they just go with the same one. Just like they said that I said nobody died at Sandy Hook. When I didn't say that, I did a devil's advocate debate. They clipped it. They say I say nobody died at Parkland. It's just John Podesta's not even in charge anymore, but the left is still at their command stations going, Empress Hillary, what do we do? Well, the last order came in about 2 years ago. We just keep repeating this stuff over and over again. Nazi, Hitler, ban their speech. No one died at the thing. Hillary didn't fall down. Hitler, Nazi, Nazi, Hitler. Racist, racist, misogynist. And it's so cult-like. You go to Hillary's Twitter, there's no men. It's just all women and only what women are doing and how women are the answer and men are bad. We're a species. Imagine if you started seeing TV shows going, you know, it's the male killer whales that are bad, or, you know, it's the male woodpeckers you can't trust. You'd be like, male woodpeckers? It's a species. We don't go, you know, it's the female black widows you got to worry about. Actually, they are the ones that are more venomous. And they do kill their husband as well. He ties her legs, though, before he mates with her. That's part of the ritual. That gets her excited. And he sits there and he ties her legs up, and then he does the deed and runs away as quickly as possible. Oh, my God. Well, she needs his protein, that meal, for making the eggs. But it's a survival of the fittest. Can he get away quickly without being eaten by his dearie? Anyways, Hillary looking like a demon goblin is the best way to describe it. Looking a bit long in the old fang. She had a lot to say. We're going to get to that in a moment. But first, Trump, this is so seismic. Just like last year, everybody's like, oh, Trump's going to invade Syria, and he's not going to pull out and follow the agreement that we made with the Russians years ago. And I said, funny, he told me that, no, that's a bunch of bull. We're going to get out of there. We're going to have to stabilize it first. And now he's come out and he's done that, and he said those exact things. And it shows the neocons, everybody else that have been trying to not let him know the real situation on the ground because it is so incredibly complex. I study it all the time, and I can barely keep track of it. But Trump sees right through it and is going with the agreement that General Flynn and Dempsey made 5 years ago with the Russians in countervalence of the leftist Obama shadow government. That was basically a patriot deep state checkmate move where Obama was told, we're not going to be al-Qaeda's Air Force. How dare you, Benghazi? How dare you give the missiles to al-Qaeda? So they rebranded ISIS to confuse everybody, but Trump saw through that. You saw through that. Rand Paul saw through it. Ted Cruz saw through it. The military saw through it. And so now Trump, these years later, is really trying to stabilize things and really trying to pull out of the country and saying, we're not going to be in the middle of this. And that is the agreement that was made with the Russians by the military, blocking Obama and the globalist expansion. And by the way, the Russians said, you better make this deal because we're going to fight you in Syria. We let you do Libya. We let you do Iraq. We know you're destabilizing everything to destabilize the Russian border. We're not going to let you do it. And our military said, you know what? You're right. This is really crazy. Why are we helping al-Qaeda and ISIS anyways? And history happened. So now Trump is actually following the deal that was made that's moral. But he's also telling Iran, you sit down and shut up and you stop starting fights. And if you come back into Syria and you try to destabilize it yourself, we're gonna bomb you. How's that sound? He told Saudi Arabia, you sit down, you stop it, or we're going to overthrow you. And now the Machiavellians, they go, oh, Trump's weird. He wants stabilization. That's weird. That was our policy until the 70s, till the mid-60s. The U.S. didn't used to be Dr. Evil, just running around being pure evil. I mean, if the Spanish Empire had already collapsed for 100 years, the U.S. is like, we'll take it. And then free market economics. But that's it. But now we've become this globalist empire. So we'll see if Russia plays nice on that front. But there are major escalations. This is a major de-escalation and shows Trump is really dealing fair. And it stunned the Russians that he actually said he's going to do what he said. Now, watch what the globalists do. They're going to pull something, some new crisis, but we'll see what happens. Here's what the president said about this yesterday.
And by the way, we're knocking the hell out of ISIS. We'll be coming out of Syria like very soon. Let the other people take care of it now. Very soon. Very soon we're coming out. We're going to have 100% of the caliphate, as they call it, sometimes referred to as land. We're taking it all back quickly.
And of course, he goes in the speech, we've spent $7 trillion in the Middle East. I was against the destabilization operation that the globalists launched, Iraq. That's what he's saying. And we're going back to the pragmatic stabilization model. And we're not going to be part of this weird, crazy globalist operation anymore to try to put radical Muslims in charge of Europe and Eastern Europe and Asia so you can bring down Russia with let the Muslims take over and have all the nuclear weapons? Is that your really dandy idea? Let me tell you something. If the West wants to take over Russia, the West just needs to do economic deals with Russia. But see, the globalists don't want the Russians to be Christian or have their own sovereignty. Economically, the globalists could be in there like flies on you-know-what. But they don't want that. They want to keep Russia super poor under their control, bring it down, and then they can have one more big run, just torturing Christians and stomping their guts out. I mean, it was like a liberal playground. American leftists, you name it, from all over the world went to Russia to be part of special units where they could just rape and murder Christians. That's what the left wants to do here, and that's what they do. They always do it. They just want to get your wife and children in a room and rape them and blow their heads off. I mean, that's what they do.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
You're a white man! You're a white man!
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
We are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people. Americanism, not globalism, will be our credo.
This is the heart of 17
Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Huge nationwide protests erupted once again on President Donald Trump's second weekend in office.
When you open your heart to patriotism, there is no room for prejudice. When America is united, America is totally unstoppable.
Donald J. Trump is now President of the United States.
And most importantly, we will be protected by God.
From the front lines of the info war, it's Alex Jones.
Oh my goodness, poor white people, please, oh my, stop.
InfoWars Life Brain Force Plus is our #1 selling product by leaps and bounds, and for a good reason. Going back about 5 years ago, we did research on what top selling nootropics were, what were most popular, what were best, what people liked, and we made it even stronger. Then we cut the price because leading competitors have 5 to 7 times markup. We only have 150%, and then it helps fund our operation. Well, now it's 50% off. That means we've got a 20